You are likely confusing your viewers. First impressions on YouTube are everything, and without clarity, your audience will fail to connect with you and your mission. But if you want to convince your viewers to fall in love with your channel, stick around, because we know exactly how to turn confusion into clarity.
Hey, welcome to the Video Creators Podcast presented by vidIQ. You know how you put a lot of time and energy into your YouTube channel for not nearly enough growth? Yep, we get it. We are here today to help you change that.
Hello, creators. How are you guys? It's great to see you here for another Video Creators Podcast episode brought to you by vidIQ like we do every Monday. Just hanging out, sharing more advanced growth tips and tactics, next level strategy, growing your business, helping you reach more people and change lives. Today I'm hanging out with Sam and Blake, two of the YouTube strategists here on the team. Hey guys, what's up?
Howdy, howdy.
The howdy is back.
I still need an intro phrase. I got to work on that. I don't feel as special not coming into this as I'm competing with howdy.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a high bar. It's a high bar.
Each week, we love to sit down with a creator that we've worked with here at Video Creators. And this week, I got to sit down with Darby Wilcock and have a little bit of a chat around his channel and what he's been seeing success-wise since working with us at Video Creators.
I started this channel because I outgrew my previous channel. I was making gaming videos for a few years and I starting to see some success on that channel, having 45,000 subs. But I was soon becoming a dad. My wife and I were pregnant, and I was steering away from I was gaming less and less, and I wanted to be a better person for when my son came. I wanted him to be proud of who I was, and screaming at a monitor playing video games was not kind of the person I wanted to be for him. So I made a decision. My wife and I made a decision that I was just going to pivot, doing this, making new content, more self-development type content, and yeah, I've been doing this for 3 years now.
Awesome. Yeah. So what did you want from your efforts from your channel on YouTube?
Well, I learned from my past experiences because my wife is also a YouTuber, that you can make a living on YouTube just doing what you love. And I just loved that idea that you can just talk about your passion and earn a living from it. And I was doing that previously with my gaming channel, and just the thought that I can improve myself and document my journey, share my journey, and hopefully help and inspire other people who want to do the same. I just think that was amazing. And that's why I just love YouTube for that.
So tell me about a struggle you've kind of bumped into with your channel along the way.
I've been making content for a while, and I always think it's what I found so hard, and I think a lot of creators find hard on YouTube, is comparing yourself to others. Mm-hmm. There's just it's so easy, especially with your analytics as well. And you're not just comparing yourself to others, you're comparing yourself to yourself. And with my previous channel that had some nice growth, I found it really hard, like emotionally and mentally, trying to not compare myself to that other channel, because this new channel wasn't growing as well. Growth on YouTube isn't linear. Mm. It can be exponential, because we all know one video can just blow up and send a channel on a whole new trajectory. So it kind of feels a bit like a lottery, but there's skill obviously involved, and you've got to do your best to boost your numbers in order to get that viral video. So it's just completely toys with your emotions. Every time you bring out a new video, you wake up the next morning, you'd be like, oh my God, what views is it on? I don't, is it 1 out of 10, 10 out of 10? I have no idea.
So in terms, I guess, with dealing with the comparison, or even just the emotion behind your channel and like things not performing the way you want to, like, what are some things you decided to try to kind of overcome those, or you learned along the way? I've
been watching video creators and other channels, like learning strategies, studying successful creators, trying to figure out why did that title, and what do I like about that thumbnail and title? Why is that blown up? And why did that one not? Why is this being recommended to me? But it just felt like nothing was working. I felt like I was just missing this one little thing that I wasn't aware of. And that's why I joined Video Labs, for that reason, because I wanted to figure out what I needed, that other opinion. What's going on here?
After being in Video Labs, what are some takeaways that have helped you kind of get towards or kind of overcome some of those obstacles you were dealing with your channel?
What I loved about Video Labs is not only is the course really thorough and Tim really kind of like takes you through those like first few steps, but the community aspect I've absolutely loved. Just talking to other creators, being able to be like, hey guys, what do you think of these title and thumbnails? And which title would you pick? And would you click on this video? And just also venting, just being able to kind of like let things out and be like, oh, they have the same problem as me. It's been really lovely having those experiences and being able to speak to you all the time, like just like going back and forth. It's been amazing just going through that experience, really beneficial.
I know you mentioned a bit before the call too. I mean, after being in Video Labs, you're finally feeling like you're getting you're getting that traction you're looking for in your channel. How's that been for you, and how's that feel?
Yeah, it's been great because, like I said, I thought there was just this one little thing that was stopping me from growing, but going through the course and kind of trying to analyze your channel in this other way with this new information, I realized that there's some real core fundamentals that just weren't working on the channel. What was great, actually, it was not only is it humbling to realize, okay, I wasn't all that. There is actually some real big problems here, but working through them and now kind of seeing results has just been phenomenal. So yeah, it's like the difference, that the changes that we've made is like the amount of times we've been uploading, that balance between quality and quantity.
Yeah,
that was probably one of my biggest struggles. And speaking to you about it is when I made that change. It's like, okay, let's lower the quality because I'm not getting any views, I'm not seeing any growth, so there's no point. Let's get some videos out. But what actually happened was, because everything I learned from Video Labs, especially with story structure, my quality actually went up as well. So I was making videos 3 times faster and they were better quality. So yeah, I think that's really been the biggest difference.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. And I guess kind of like one last question for you. If you were thinking in terms of, let's think of like a YouTuber who's just starting out or trying to grow their channel like you and kind of going through a lot of these same struggles, what's a piece of advice you'd give to them right now?
You definitely need a growth mindset. You have to think everything can be changed. You can't stick to anything. You need to be really open to criticism and change. You need to be able to adapt. I think, I'm sure Tim said this as well. You've got to be a consumer as well. You've got to consume YouTube, be watching it, analyzing it, seeing what, and question yourself. Like, if you find yourself, you just instantly clicked on a video, why have you clicked on a video? What was it about it that you clicked on that one and not that one or that one or that one? So you've always got to be kind of learning and try things, and just don't be afraid to take risks. Everyone's favorite creators, you'll see that they've evolved over that journey. They're not making the same content they were 3-4 years ago. It's being done in different ways. You know, the most successful people on the platform, you look at Mr. Beast and you look at like people like Ryan Trahan, like they're evolving and trying new things and upping their game. And
like Ryan Trahan's videos at first were running videos, and now he's completely opposite from what that was. Like that's kind of where he started. So it's like a complete shift. Yeah. So it's fun watching that progression for sure. But
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I heard it on a podcast.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Darby, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate your time.
Pleasure. Thank you, Blake. Appreciate it.
I love how Darby talked about how he took a step back from his channel, kind of reevaluated his audience, and was open to being willing to experiment and trust the process in his creator journey. And he's really seeing the benefit and reward of that because of that trust in that process.
Yeah, I feel like experimenting is one of those scary things where, you know, it's comfortable to just kind of try the same thing over and over again, but then you get frustrated when you're not seeing those results. So if you're listening and you find yourself in that position where maybe you're just tired of kind of being on that hamster wheel and you want to start taking some of those next steps forward and experimenting with some things, but you just want some help identifying those light bulb moments and moving forward. We'd love to work with you. We'd love to jump into a consultation. It would just be for an hour, and we would just help you navigate some of those next steps and move forward. So if that sounds like a good fit for you and something that you're interested in, go ahead and visit videocreators.com/consulting, and we will see you there.
Many people don't think about the first impression that their audience is having when they first have contact with your channel. Is it easy to see who the content is for? Is it easy to understand what the value is? Why should the audience even care? Today, I think we want to go a little deeper in how to put your best foot forward for a brand new viewer that just came to your channel for the first time. So guys, how important are first impressions really for a creator's channel?
Yeah, I think for me, it's what's the huge part is when I come to your channel, I come with like that selfish intent of like, okay, what am I going to get from this? Is that clear to me why I should spend my time here? Because remember, like a lot of our audiences, they're looking for every excuse to click out of your channel and go somewhere else. So how can I make myself stand out and say, no, this is the right place for you because of this, right?
Yeah. First impressions, I feel like, are kind of do or die. We talk about titles and thumbnails a lot, and I think that's a form of a first impression, but I totally agree. I really think that question is always in a viewer's mind of, is this right for me? And unfortunately, I think our attention spans are just getting smaller and smaller and shorter as time goes on. And so now we have to kind of answer some of those unspoken questions, I think faster than ever, kind of immediately. So yeah, I think it's super important.
I totally agree. And I know that, the goal really is to get somebody into a little binge watching session, because that's just such a key viewer signal for the algorithm for Alfie that day.
It's a good day. Alfie, right?
Yeah. If that's the first time you've heard that, I have named the algorithm. It's Alfred on a bad day, Alfie on a good day, Al on a day where we're not really so sure. So yes, it's a guy. I'm a girl. But first impressions, if you've watched several videos, then chances are you're going to come up in somebody's on the homepage, the next day. But if I've just watched one video from you and I'm not really 100% certain, and maybe you didn't really quite do an effective call to action, or maybe you had too many at the end, which, let's be honest, a lot of you do that. Stop it. Stop it. Be focused. Then what I'm going to do as a viewer, and I don't know about you too, but my viewer signals is that I then go and explore the channel. All right. Yeah. And if I can't identify what the value is like that, chances are I'm gone.
Right.
So,
part of the issue is I feel like because there's so many people on YouTube and there's so many similar niches and so many similar topics, it's like at what point can I convince you that, hey, my channel, although there are thousands of others of the same thing, why should I draw your attention the most, right? And if your audience is coming to your channel and it's not clear to them, or even for you, I challenge yourself as a creator, look at your channel and say, is it clear to me if I was my audience member why I should stick around? If it's not, or even who it's for, there might be a problem here.
Yeah. And I think the key with that, though, is to really have an honest conversation with yourself, because you have insider information. Your viewer doesn't. So what are some practical steps that people can take to optimize their channel for a good first impression?
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I think most of the time what happens is somebody has surfaced your title, thumbnail, your video on the homepage, ideally, and then they watch your video, and then hopefully they have connected with you in some sense, or you've kind of piqued their curiosity enough where then they will go to your channel page. And I think that's kind of one of the most underrated places to pay attention to as a creator and kind of optimize. And so, at least for me, I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I look at is the logo, the channel banner. So I watch the video, click onto the channel page, and then the first thing I really look at is kind of like those first few, the channel banner, probably their photo, because you can see it a little bit bigger than versus looking at the video itself. And from there, I kind of start to form some of that opinion of, is this for me or not? Is this, am I connecting with anything here? Is it clear kind of what's going on?
Yeah, I think the one of the common mistakes I see with banners, again, you mentioned it too, like we see the logo, we see your name, and then it's repeated again in the banner. And it's like, okay, that's great, but I know that because I'm here. I've already clicked on your channel, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's, it's common. I see that, and I do get that we're trying to kind of spice up our channel a little bit, but it's an underutilized tool of like, how else can I take this space and just make it really clear before anyone has to even click into anything, who I am, what I'm about, and why they should spend their time here. What's that value here? Great place to put our value proposition for our audience.
Yeah, I think visuals go really far too. I'm a really big fan of, because it's almost like we see all kinds of different banners. Some of them it's like a ton of like a what is it, a collage? Mirage? Collage?
Yeah, collage. I think collage.
Are we in the desert right now? Mirage? Yeah, you see kind of a collage of photos, and it doesn't really mean anything. It's just really cluttered. Or on the other side of the spectrum, it's all text, and there aren't really any photos at all. And so I think visually, there's a really good opportunity to kind of almost even show like the end result for the viewer. Like if you can show them potentially what they might get if they stick around and watch your videos, that can be really powerful just at a glance for that viewer.
Yeah. So, let's look at a couple of practical things here, or talk about practical things, not look. What are a couple different approaches that people can go with? Obviously, the visual story, I think, is always going to be, we're always going to err on that side. Mm-hmm. If you can visually tell me what value you bring without any text, I mean, seriously, that's the best way to design anything, whether it's a thumbnail, whether it's a, channel banner, whatever that thing is. If you can visually tell a story without any text, that's where I'd start. If you can't do that visually, you're not allowed to put text on, quite honestly. I'm just going to say it right
Ingrid's
now.
coming for you.
You are not allowed to put text on until you can visually tell the story. Once you got that, then go ahead and do that. But not too many words, like the guy said. But what are like some different approaches beyond, having like lots of images, like you said, the Mirage. No.
The Mirage, yeah.
The Mirage,
exactly.
the collage. Beyond that, like what are like some good examples that you guys have seen out there, and maybe some other ways of portraying value?
Yeah, I think I shared this on a recent podcast, so I might be kind of repeating myself, but I think I told you guys about the solo traveler channel that I had worked with, who does like RVing with his dog. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there was a channel that we had worked with in the past who had kind of like a family RV channel, and I thought they were really similar. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'll show this guy, this family RVing channel, because they have a very well optimized channel, a great channel banner. They basically had maybe like 3 or 4 photos. It wasn't too many, but it almost kind of visually told that story. They're kind of throwing their young daughter up in the air playing, and then they showed kind of the mountains, and then they showed the RV. So it was a very clear picture of like, oh yeah, this is a family who they really value family time, and they travel. And so they had like a short value proposition, just a couple words, like it was very, very well done. And I showed this guy this channel, and the first words out of his mouth were, "Oh, that's not for me."
Love that.
Yeah, I was like, that is such an effective banner that it's so clear that you're going to get the people who it's for, and they're going to say, "Oh yeah, that is for me." And on the flip side, that other person, the wrong person, can make that decision so quickly and not stick around, that's actually going to serve everybody as the best way.
Yeah. And why does that matter?
Well, I think if you're unclear, and then you get maybe some people subscribing when they're not really the right viewer, it's just going to be frustrating for everybody, because that viewer might subscribe and they might watch some videos because they might have an idea of what your content can do for them. And then they start to show not super positive viewer signals. Soon they start not watching your content, and then that creator usually will end up working with people like us, and they're kind of like, yeah, I've got 100,000 subscribers and I'm only getting 100 views on my videos. What's
that's
going
really
on?
frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like just for the audience, if they want to go and take a look at that banner, that's a former client of ours. The channel banner that he's talking about is Less Junk, More Journey, which is a great channel name.
it is, yeah.
Because it really clearly, effectively tell you what the value is that they bring. But like Sam said, they do such a great job of visually telling the story of what they're about that you don't even need to read that.
Yeah, I think another example for me would be, actually, Sam shared this a lot, the yes theory. And I'll be honest, yes theory for a while took me a bit to understand, I guess, the visual power behind it. Like, I knew it was an example he used a lot. I kept looking at it. I didn't really get it. But like recently I'm using it a lot because like, again, you can definitely see like the whole value proposition for the channel, travel adventure, what makes them different. Life's greatest moments, deepest connections are outside your comfort zone. And looking at it visually, now I'm like, oh, it makes so much more sense now. Not only do I see people bonding and enjoying, they're in a cave at one point, an adventure there, they're laughing with Will Smith, like this whole like, there's like all these snippets of memory that just pop out. I'm like, I don't even need the words to know exactly. Like, this is going to be something pushing me somewhere that I want to go.
Yeah.
Well, now I have a question. I'm curious. Have you ever watched a video of theirs?
No, I haven't.
See, so it's confusing to you.
Yeah.
But if you had but see, that's not how a viewer would have gotten there, right?
Yeah.
They would have seen a video. So now knowing that, do you think that you might have a different opinion?
What do you mean? The fact that now that I understand the value?
If you had experienced a video, which, trust me, a Yes Theory video, they epitomize all of that, their value in their videos. So having known that and then seeing that and having like they use a creed, right? I think you just read it.
Yeah, I've got it on my shirt and everything. So there we go. I never watched a video.
Really?
Shirt. Nice.
Funny.
Really? You've bought merch and you've never watched a video? That's insane.
Side note. I think for me, insane. I think because of the mantra, just like I think the idea of what they do, I think I love so much. I think it's just, again, I don't know. I've just never got into watching a video, but I just love the idea of what they believe, which is why I use an example too. I'm like, their creed is so powerful that like, whether I've not watched the video or not, like I believe it so strongly. And I always think back to them, although I've never really watched the content.
That's crazy. So we're talking about the power of optimizing your channel, your channel page. And so I think this is a prime example of somebody who hasn't even watched the content has connected. It's been so clear that you went and bought their merch. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy. So that's an example. That's a great example of a creed and how you can really connect to a creed or not connect at all. Which then informs you as to whether or not you would subscribe or not, or just come back the next time you were to see something that might be of interest. What other way, if somebody doesn't really know what kind of a creed to put on there, maybe Sam, why don't you talk a little bit more about like what a creed really is?
Yeah. So I think creeds are a bit misunderstood sometimes when we talk about them. I think sometimes it can feel like a value proposition. I've worked with several people who, will kind of talk about creeds and it's like, okay, let's brainstorm some. And then they'll come back with kind of like a nice branded sentence, like, I'll do this so that you can do this. And it's great. Like, it's really great to have value that how to like concisely put together and that you can say that, like, that's all really great stuff. But a creed is more just, if you can say, I believe blank,
that's good.
That you've got a creed. It can be really easy. And I actually think they can be deep thing. Like, I would say Yes Theories is pretty deep. Like, it's something that can kind of stir you and make you feel something, which is awesome. Like, those are really great creeds. I think creeds can be really shallow and silly too. Like, I've talked about the guy who has the strong creeds about suspenders. I've talked about him a handful of times on the podcast, I feel like. And for his audience, it sounds funny, but they're like, yes, finally somebody's talking about how awesome suspenders are and how useful they are. And so you can have creeds like that too, where maybe you have it on a channel level or you just weave that into your content, but it's a small moment for somebody to be able to say like, yeah, I share that belief, I'm in, kind of a thing.
I love that. So tell me about a little bit more. Are there any other practical tips that you have for the audience when it comes to creating the right logo? Not logo.
The banner.
Channel banner.
I would actually add one thing that I really like about Yes Theories is it's really clear who the leaders of the channel are. Most channels out there, it's just one person. You are the sole creator. But when there are channels like them, I think of Dude Perfect too. I use them as an example sometimes, where you go to their channel, you look at their banner, and it's super clearly defined. You know, there's like 3 to 5 of us. The more you add, it can get really confusing for a first time viewer to know, like, well, I'm seeing this guy here, but then I saw this other person here. You know, who's leading the channel and who's just a guest? Like, I'm just confused. So that's something too about the Yes Theory banner. I think that they do well. It's very clear who the leaders are.
And why do you think that's important to know who the leader is?
Well,
if you're going to on this,
if you're going to try to connect with potentially whoever the person is, again, kind of thinking of the viewer journey of like, okay, probably we've watched one video, we've come to the channel to learn a little bit more. If you can see that person, then it's a lot easier to make that connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's super, super important too as channels grow and scale. And it gets, if you've been on the platform, chances are a lot of people listening have been on the platform for a decade. YouTube's been around for a while now, and you get a little burnt out and sometimes you just need to expand, or maybe you're an entrepreneur and you're growing your business at the same time. And sometimes you need to be more in your business, working on those things rather than always making content. So that's why you have a team, a leader. Look at us. Tim is not in this personal episode right now, but that doesn't mean that he's not a part of the podcast. He is the clear leader on our channel, but he also has some co-leaders. And that would be the 3 of us, that help create content so that it's not just one voice. But, to your point, though, having a clear leader, which Tim is the clear leader of our channel, that's really, really important because that's who the audience ultimately connects with. Though we are kind of cool, though. Just gonna say.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it, but we are pretty cool. If I do say so.
Tim doesn't like to talk about analytics, and we love to talk about analytics. So we bring value.
Extra cool points for that.
Extra cool points. And then just one final little note, because this is just something that everybody should be cognizant of, is to make sure that whatever is the most valuable of your channel banner does need to fit into where you can see it on mobile. Because your entire channel banner that you're going to see on a desktop, and it's totally different if you have it on TV, it's not going to show up on mobile. So just always make sure to have that there as well. So what are some other things that creators should think about when it comes to first impressions for a new viewer?
I get so much pushback on this sometimes, and that's a channel trailer. And I'm always like, let me explain to you.
Let me tell you why.
Yeah. It's like, because the pushback that I get is like, okay, well, there's bigger creators who are not using, like, they don't have channel trailers. Why should I need one? And it's like, okay, well, yes, you can grow without it. But again, all these things we talk about are tools that YouTube gives us. And it may not be the intention that YouTube wants us to use it for, but imagine if we figure out these strategies around it, like the banner, making it in this certain way, but have a trailer that's crafted for the first time viewer in mind. It could be, again, it won't make or break your channel, but it could be what convinces somebody, yes, this is the right place for me, right?
And I will push back on that. Bigger creators don't have a channel trailer. Dr. Mike, Andrew Ray, Binging with Babish, there are so many that do. Both of those channels are Diamond Play Button channels. T-Core, there's the King of Random. There are so many channels that have channel trailers. And hey, if you're subscribed to any of those, you're not going to see it. Because guess what? It's just for new subscribers.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's so underutilized, I feel like, because it's easy to make. And it's the kind of thing where, again, thinking of like the viewer journey, they've watched probably a video, they're coming to your channel to learn more. The second that they come to your channel, your trailer is the first thing on the screen, and you can literally have an opportunity to be like, hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Sam. This is what we do. Like this, and then boom, give them the value. And instead of just putting some other random video there and you're kind of just like dropping them in the middle of, they may not even be interested in that kind of thing. It's just to be able to immediately address this person like on a human level, I think is so powerful, and it really helps speed up that process.
So let's take this conversation practical now. Okay, let's give some real practical steps to crafting a great trailer.
Yeah, I mean,
that's on you guys.
Yeah. First of all, the tendency I see is to create really long trailers. I've seen trailers that have been 10 minutes. I've seen trailers that have been 5 minutes. And the reality of it is, it's like the point of a trailer is to tease something. That's why we watch movie trailers. And a lot of them are short because they're trying to tease what's to come in the movie. The same for us. How can we effectively, in a short amount of time, 30 to 90 seconds max, explain to somebody what to expect from their channel?
Yeah, I find that 45 to 60 seconds is like a sweet spot for a trailer from a retention standpoint. Because what's the goal of a trailer?
Well, I would say there's maybe a few goals, because this is the only real place we would recommend to ask somebody to subscribe. Mm-hmm. So I think when somebody watches this trailer, they could be like in several places on, I guess, this like spectrum, I guess, or like this roadmap. Like maybe they've watched, if they're way over here, well, I guess you can't see me if you're listening on the podcast, but if you're watching the podcast, you can see my hands. I'm waving them around right now. If they're like at the beginning of this journey, I guess they watch one of your videos, they come watch the trailer. To me, the goal of this trailer is you're almost kind of winning them over. You're kind of like getting the right person in front of you. You give a call to subscribe, and I wouldn't even say that's super important. They can subscribe, and that's great, but it's more like making the distinction of, is this the right place for me or not? Sometimes if someone's further along kind of the spectrum that I'm visualizing here, maybe they've watched like 3 or 4 of your videos, and then they come to your channel and they have a really good idea of like, I really like this channel, this is cool. And then you just addressing them is enough for them to be like, yeah, like this is the channel for me. Because we definitely recommend giving a little bit of kind of your story too in your channel trailer. Like it's definitely viewer focused and kind of pitching the value of what they can expect from the channel. But it's also an opportunity to give a little bit of context too. So if they've watched 1, 2, 3 of your videos, and then they come to your trailer, and then they can, see, yeah, I've been doing this for X amount of years, and this is why I'm so passionate and made a channel around this whole thing, because I want to help you do this. Like they can even hear a little bit of your backstory too, and kind of build that know, like, and trust factor like that much more in 45 seconds. Like that's pretty awesome. So I think there's a lot of different wins that could come from a channel trailer.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest piece that I love about the trailer is that creation story portion, getting to know you. I think this is now your time to say, hey, I want you to stick around because of, well, the information, the value, but also me. Like here's how I'm relatable. Here's why I'm trying to help you. Here's my story. Now there's more context. I mean, like I say this to creators all the time, like pick a channel that you love. What is it about this channel that you love? And they're always going into, well, this, creator, they're very relaxed, they did this, they did that. I feel like they're my friend. It's like, yeah, like these are all the things that we're trying to communicate in our trailer to say, we're people too. And we want to be your friend. Like, this is why we're here.
Yeah. I would imagine like if Yes Theory had a trailer, how much more powerful would it be if you could hear one of the leaders say like, my whole life, I said no. And like, I was depressed, anxious, like I never felt like I was living my life to its fullest. And then that's when, boom, you pitch the value, you get right into the creed. This is why we believe this thing. And the amount of people who would listen and probably be able to relate and immediately feel like they're in the right place could be really impactful.
I feel like you said something really important. You said relate. So remember, this is all about connection. Like Sam said earlier, it's about growing the know, like, and trust factor. And, this is an opportunity for you to do that. And if you're kind of putting this off and it's been on your to-do list for a long time, I encourage you to bump it up the priority list a little bit, especially if you are really a growing channel. And if you have a lot of other channels that are in your niche, this is a way to stand out. This is a way to be different. Just because so-and-so doesn't have a trailer doesn't mean that you don't need to have a trailer. Stand out. Don't make it so hard for your audience. Get them connected, right?
Yeah. I feel like I want to speak to that too, because I feel like that may sound really intimidating of be different, stand out, where somebody might feel like, oh, I need to like be somebody else, where I think it's exactly the opposite. I think your relatability and you being yourself, but just making it known in a place like your channel trailer is going to be the thing that sets you apart, because a lot of other creators out there, it's all about the thing and it's not about the connection and about you too.
Yeah. And since we are being practical, at the very end of your trailer, ask for the subscribe. You will never hear me ever tell you to ever say subscribe again. These boys know.
Yeah.
I will never tell a creator that they need to ask for the subscribe. But in this, that is the intention of the video.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the reason you're making it. You know, in addition to, of course, telling them your value and getting them to connect with you. But at the end, ask for the subscribe. So subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and end the video abruptly. No ending music and pretty little scene or anything at the end. There are no end screens on this video. No end screens whatsoever. Because if you do, you're going to delay a very big red subscribe button that's going to cover the entire video. It's the only video on your channel that YouTube does this to. So don't work against it and give them an opportunity to go somewhere else. And if you're worried about, well, yeah, but my audience, they already know this, don't worry about that. On the back end, you have an opportunity to uncheck a box to share with your subscribers. So they won't, or notify your subscribers. They won't be notified about it. If that's your biggest roadblock to doing this, what we're saying is create a trailer.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
I'm off my soapbox. I am off my soapbox.
Very passionate. Yeah.
And if you already have a trailer or you want to put that really cool video that you just are so proud of to have returning viewers come back, put that in its place for your returning viewers. I say this a lot when I talk to creators, especially in consultations and especially clients that I work with. Your trailer is the business card for your channel. That's how I want you to think about it. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody could watch it and then could be converted. You know, remember, we're crafting this for non-subscribers. Yeah. All right.
If I were to add that a little bit too, I think just one thing, because it's also good for you as the creator to figure out, how do I communicate my channel to someone for the first time? Because I mean, in consultation, we always ask people, and with clients, are like, you know, subscribe to my channel because, and all the time, everyone's like, oh, that's a really good question. You know, that should be an easy question for us to figure out, right? So the trailer will help you. It'll help your audience, but it'll help you to really hone in and figure out, how do I say this clearly and effectively, what my channel is about and why you should care. And that'll really benefit you as a creator, but also your audience in the future. Yeah.
That's a great point. So if your trailer is the business card, what about the rest of your channel?
Well, if we're thinking about the channel business card here, and you've got your channel trailer at the top of the business card, you have opportunities even right below that to kind of add whatever sections you want. You know, I think sections, I think playlists are also very misunderstood. I think sometimes there's a mindset that it's kind of just a filing cabinet. Like, let me just put this category of videos here and then this video, and then we'll just keep throwing them in. And then 3 years later, you've got, 50 playlists, and every video or every playlist has hundreds of videos in it. Hundreds. And it's so sad to look in your analytics, because you can actually look at your playlist analytics and you can see, like, what is the exit rate, in this playlist, at what point are people leaving. And usually in those playlists, it's after like 3 videos, maybe they get to a 4th one, and then there's no data because 0 people watch the other 46 videos in the playlist. So you can use that very strategically. On that homepage, you've got your trailer. Then maybe as someone's watching it, they kind of scroll down a little bit, it's kind of looking around. And if you can still kind of a lot of the same things we're talking about, I guess, give them some reasons to watch. Maybe you have a good playlist that's actually addressing, like, hey, are you new around here? Want to learn more about this thing? Here's a short playlist. Check it out. You can kind of give somebody a reason to go do it versus, just a category of videos.
Okay.
It's there.
But for those listening that are like, but hey, Sam, I have people that want to see all of my vlogs. I will stand up for you here and I'm going to fight back. It's coming. I agree with every single thing that Sam says right now. But in addition, it's important to have the playlists that he was talking about and to have shorter playlists in general. But if you do have, say, series content, okay, say like you are a vlog and people like to watch from one week to a next, it's okay to have up 1 or 2 playlists like that. But what we are not saying is that every playlist gets to be like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally agree. Yeah. There's like a time and place, I feel like.
Yeah.
And also what we're talking about, I guess, kind of specifically here is just like the home channel sections on the homepage. Because you can have tons and tons and tons of playlists. But if we're going to try to highlight the most important ones to try to target, because again, we're thinking about first impressions. Like if we're thinking about the new viewer, how do we optimize that front page the best we possibly can just to get them more interested and click in?
Yeah, I feel like some people will categorize it and they don't always think about like, I can use the same video in like 5 different playlists. So I can still have that strictly just series content, but I can still use some of those videos in other playlists that do make sense at the same time. So you can have both. There's freedom for all that, right?
Mm-hmm. So what are some effective, like help people out, like some effective things that they need to think about when creating their playlists in order to create channel sections specifically?
Yeah, I'd say treat your playlist like you would a title for a video. Same way. Create it for intrigue, create it for benefit reward. And that goes for, our channel first impressions, but also for pitching a playlist in a video. How do I create that for intrigue and value, but on our channel page for a first impression, thinking for a first-time viewer in mind. So someone who doesn't know me yet, but is looking for this specific value, how can I title it for to say, this is the exact perfect playlist for you, knowing that you're looking for this for the first time?
Tim does this really well on the Video Creators channel.
Shameless plug. Yep.
Yeah, shameless plug. It's not storytelling tips. It's creator stories. I don't know the exact time. This is terrible. I don't know the exact.
The obstacles we overcome to reach our dreams.
Yes, there you go. The obstacles we overcome to reach our dreams. So you have an understanding of really the benefit for you as a viewer. It's not just SEO tips. It's a much more in-depth, benefit-driven video title with a why section underneath. It matters in the first place. Because for those of you that didn't know, you can add a description to a playlist.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I think it's just... it's a very human first, people first type of thing to optimize, because I like to think of kind of my channel as like if you're inviting guests over to your house for the first time, you're going to lead them like from room to room as you kind of show, this is our living room. This is what we do here. This is our kitchen. We're making brownies right now. Like they're going to be delicious. Awesome. Here's my backyard. And you kind of like walk them through the house. You don't necessarily just open the door and then like hope they can find their way and figure out where they want to spend their time for the day. I think in the same way this is like a first time viewer who's new here. If you can kind of give them some reasons of like, yeah, we do this sort of thing here, which you might like for this reason. And we do this thing too. You can kind of like pitch that reward and that value that they're looking for, and just make it easy for them. Just thinking of them like a human showing up, that can go a long way too.
Totally. I like to think of the channel page as the portfolio for your channel. So your trailer's your business card, your channel page is your portfolio. And if you're very clear with the value that you bring in a visual and written way in your channel banner, I think you're setting up your viewer for a great first impression, right? Now, do we leave any other parts off here when it comes to channel optimization that you can think of?
Maybe the channel icon. I think the icon, it's, I see a lot, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times I'll see the channel icon is like the branding. So it'll be like the title of the channel, but in kind of their branding, their font, their logo, and there's not a person that I can see. So maybe that bundles a little bit with the channel banner, like we were talking earlier. But I think that's pretty underutilized as well. I think your channel icon, if we can see an up close picture of you, maybe smiling, can see the whites of your eyes, that goes a long way too. And just kind of knowing like who is this person? Who is the leader of the channel? How can I connect with somebody if I can't see them?
Yeah, I've seen with some clients and some of our group coaching how they test this out of like replacing their logo on their icon to their face, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that just feels better, right? There's like this emotion behind it. I just feel like this just works more. And that it's true, people want to see a face more, especially too, like your channel can be found sometimes in the search results. Imagine seeing a face over a logo. What am I more drawn to? That being said as well too, the first couple of lines of your description, I can also put in my value at that point, because they're going to see the first couple of lines of that in the search results as well.
Right.
Rather than saying, hey, my name is this, saying, hey, this is my channel. You're going to feel this way. Come on in, right? It's a door, the front door.
And what Blake is really referring to is the about page. And what are some mistakes or some traps that you see creators fall into with the about page?
I see a lot. And I don't know where this started. It actually really bothers me. The kind of like
a pet peeve of Sam's.
It's almost like, I don't know. It's like the third person language, kind of the language of like,
it's the website about page.
We at this channel, we like to do this because this. And it's like, why don't you just say, I help you do this, and I'm doing this for 10 years, whatever, a little bit of creation story, but it's more like personal language, and it's a real person you can connect with, and it doesn't feel so much like a blog that you're reading or a website.
I feel that that's the problem though. And I think that this is a trap that a lot of business YouTubers make, because you're so used to SEO and how things work on a website or a blog that when you come to YouTube, you just assume that it's the same. And I got news for you. It's totally different. And that's why a lot of creators struggle. YouTube is a conversation. I say it all the time, right? And so what Sam is saying is have a conversation with your person reading it. This isn't about using third person. Tim Schmoyer is the top YouTube strategist, been around since the beginning of YouTube time. That's not how it is. It's we deliver whatever that value is right away, because as Blake said, it's surfaced around YouTube. Yeah. And if you notice, even they've kind of changed how it is where they show your channel icon, even under a video, and a little bit about your about page is now there. Now everybody's running to their channel to quickly look, what does it say about me? What does it say about me? Because that's a recent change that has happened. Yeah. And then what are some other things that you can add to an about page?
Yeah, I think of it similarly to a trailer. I wouldn't word for word just put your trailer script in the about page, but it's the same sort of concept. So I think, your value proposition, what's the value that you're going to propose this viewer, maybe a small bit of kind of your backstory of why you do what you do. And then, I think some other things like a posting schedule can be helpful. If you have a posting schedule, that's a good place to put it. I think it's okay to do a call to action to subscribe there as well.
Totally. Link your other socials, link your website. If you have that free PDF to get them onto your email list, it's a perfect place for it. Yeah, just remember, it's about really giving that crucial first impression. All of this is. And it's important to clearly communicate your channel's value to your target audience. Without a clear understanding of who we are and what the channel is about, our ideal audience will oftentimes miss out on the opportunity to get to know us. And I don't want that for you. But with clarity, you can communicate value and create the potential for your channel to grow.
Every week, we love to leave you guys with a power tip. And this week, we want to talk a bit about thumbnails for shorts, which is something I think a lot of people have been asking about for a long time. And while YouTube has no specific plans to allow, fully custom thumbnails to be uploaded to your shorts, Android for a while has been able to select a screen grab from their short during upload to pick as that thumbnail because it's seen on like the short shelf and your channel page. This feature is now coming to iOS as well. So you can now have more control over the aesthetics of your shorts as you upload them to try to grab that attention where you can when it gets surfaced.
Always behind, Apple is. Just gotta say.
Apparently. Yeah.
I love that. Thanks for listening to another Video Creators Podcast episode. See you next week. Bye.